Boy, seems like a year since I've been working on this 924 turbo engine. So, you saw my supplemental video about getting a friction plate. We think it's for a normally aspirated car, but at this point, you know, um, it just is what it is. So, now I got to put the bell housing on, and let's take a look at that. Right, so everything lined up. I mean, with the right friction plate, it makes all the difference in the world. Well, or a sort of right friction plate. So to review the bell housing, you've got your clutch fork, and that is going to engage the throwout bearing. Let's see if I can get the orientation right here. Yep. Nope. Like that. Yep. Because there's your timing hole. Still top dead center. Timing hole there. So that clutch fork, that's your slave cylinder mount. So when it sits on there, basically clutch fork's going to be in that orientation, right? Which would put it like that. Okay, and then you got that pin that runs through it from the outside. I've cleaned all that up pretty good. Typically you put a little bit of grease on the guide tube so the throwout bearing slides on that nicely, and Bob's your uncle. So the trick is you can't put the pin in until the bell housing is mounted. So the clutch fork just kind of floats around inside the bell housing until you get it all bolted down. So when you get the bell housing on there loosely, let me turn on, you can look inside of this hole and see the clutch fork and make sure that the fingers are behind the throwout bearing and the pin goes from the other side. That knob is a stop for the pin. So you just got to confirm all that. This is so much easier outside of the car. I've had to do it several times inside of the car underneath, and it's just awful. So yeah, as you're guiding that pin up in there, you'll keep an eye down the inspection hole here, and you'll see it, line up with the clutch fork and everything. You'll kind of wiggle it and feel it. And then once you nestle it all the way in there, there's a retaining bolt that basically locks into that notched end of the pin. Okay, there's also a plate that covers a hole in the casting on the block, and I believe that is an orifice for a starter if it were to be mounted on the right hand side of the engine, maybe. But you really need it on there because there's a gap that goes into the bell housing around behind that plate, And it also, those two bolts help secure the bell housing to the block. So that's probably the last thing I'm going to do this evening. I'll have to reevaluate the whole top end. I know I need to put gaskets on the valve cover. Just look everything over that needs to be in place before I try to put this back in the car. Yeah. So that's where I'm at this evening. Thanks for your patience. Hopefully we'll be making some more progress soon. And hang with me, guys.